Yo, 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 it's Misha Dex. And wait,
Let
wait,
me start over.
why are you smiling like that? Why,
Wait, wait, did I mess up?
why are you smiling like that?
I didn't drink.
I've been drinking. I've
I
been
didn't
drinking.
drink.
Okay, Keontae. Keontae.
First of all, first of all,
You the
let's
key
let's
hive.
let's
You
let's
the
start this
key.
whole let's start this whole introduction back over. Keep it going. Don't need to just it should miss your decks and your boy. Let's do it all over because from that point we're gonna get serious. No,
You
yeah,
can't even turn off. I turned my face off to start over. You know how they be like, serious
okay,
face.
all right. Grow up. Can we start
Yo,
over?
yo, yo. It's Misha Dex and your boy.
Keymon. All right, now we can start service. How are you?
I don't.
How are you doing?
I don't know why you start off asking me how I'm doing because this is gonna look like I'm depressed every week and I don't like it.
Well, is it so? Damn, that's crazy. So is it a facade when you ask people like say for instance, cooler talk at work, right? When you be like, hey, how you doing? Is it like like some people I feel like you walk the line with, right? Because sometimes you really not in the mood to absorb what they come to work with or whatever the
I
case
was
may
about to
be.
say it really just depends on the person because everybody ain't like, yeah, ain't worth that whole truth, right? Like that generic response is easy. Like, oh, I'm cool. You, oh, okay. And the whole time you got a whole, like, not even a plate. You got a whole
Mm.
buffet full of things on your mind. Like,
Have
so,
you ever felt like when you ask a stranger like, oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. I was like, so what is going great for you? Like I
I
wonder what
mean,
that would be like.
I have, don't get me wrong, I've done this a
Uh-huh.
lot where, for example, I did a big conference in October, and a young black man got on the elevator, right?
Hmm.
And he was like, hey, and I said, hey, how you doing? And then he just nodded his head. I said, no, that was a real question. Like, how are you? And he
Hmm.
was like, oh. And he was like, he's like, I heard you, but then I thought it was just like generic. And I said, no, I meant it. Like, how are you? I'm being
Hmm.
intentional. And he was
Uh-huh.
like, I'm actually good. And
Uh-huh.
then he was like, I'm gonna be mindful when people ask me that now, right? Like I've done that to people, especially people working in the grocery stores. I feel
Yeah.
like they deal with all
Yeah.
these irate customers.
Hmm.
So I think that's my most like Merry Christmas moment is when I start
Hmm.
messing with like the cashiers. And I
Mm.
always say, I'm gonna be your favorite customer for the day.
Yeah. 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 I, I I hear you. And part of it is, because I think it becomes like such a norm or became such a norm where people are just like, oh, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
But really getting into the thick of things of like, yo, no, like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
and
even with the people you love, right? Like
mm-hmm,
we walk past each other. I mean, even me and you, we've checked in, and depending on if we have my favorite word, if we have the capacity to share more, we will. But then sometimes we don't even know if the other person has the capacity to receive it.
mm,
So then you
yeah.
find yourself like, well, how much do I really want to share? And am I gonna ruin their mood or their day?
And I think that's the real part of it. It's just like, we feel so responsible, or I wouldn't say responsible, but like we're so concerned with how we impact or affect the other with our stories. So we kind of, instead of being like, yo, I'm hurting today, we're like, no, I'm good, and just going about the day.
Right.
And yeah, and I know that can be a totally different thing for sure.
Well, not only that, like, what about if you think about your expectation for people to either go
Mm,
deeper or opposite up? Like, my expectation is you're gonna ask and you're gonna keep walking, and then but you
mm,
don't. So it's like, oh, I really gotta,
Mm.
I gotta answer that,
Share,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, but then
yeah,
also I feel like expectation is something we've talked about recently where matter of fact, you on episode 10, you had asked Tranisha like what is her expectations of her friends
yeah.
after losing, her parents and whatever and how they show up. And she was like, I don't have one. And I thought that was a safe space for her because again, why am I expecting you to show up when I'm grieving? So if you're gonna show
Mm.
up, you're gonna show up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
And it's safe. It's safe, but what
yeah.
if you didn't have to worry about having expectation and people, not in just her case, what if people really did do their part to show up?
It, in the expectation, like unspoken expectation, is such a burden. I think we place on our peers, our workers, and whatever the case may be. Because at the end of the day, I feel like if their experience isn't parallel to our experience, how would we expect anything different? Or why should we expect anything different? Or how could we expect anything different?
Right. Because I truly believe, and I will highlight this throughout my days of life. I feel like expectations is the silent killer in all relationships
Mm,
because silently you have created this whole vision board that nobody else sees, right? So for example, like say you're gonna get some money
hmm.
and I'm like, oh, Keymon gonna kick me down
Yeah,
some money.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then you get the money and you do something and don't even offer it. But me and you've
Mm,
never talked about it. There's
mm,
no real reason why I should be expecting it outside of expectation. And then I just stop talking to you. You'd be like, wait a minute.
yeah. And what is so crazy is that I had that happen to me. And it was my fault by not communicating. And once I did communicate, it was like, oh, I got you. It was an easy send of percent for me getting
Hmm.
the deal or whatever the case may be. And I was just like, oh shit. And here I am again, unexpected communication where I'm expecting you to offer it, but if you got if you have placed your I guess your budget you budget out that money that you expected to get, and maybe I wasn't in the budget.
Mm.
And so which is fine, but now I'm gonna have to remind you, and how you go from there is how we move forward.
So let me clarify. So what was it that made you feel like you were going to get some money from the situation?
Well, because I orchestrated a deal
That's
for this
different.
person.
Okay, got it. Okay.
I orchestrated a deal that came through, and so I assume it was an unspoken rule
Mm.
um, that was just set in place. And again though, what made me comfortable with bringing it up was it was because of the relationship that I had with the person, and I knew that he was going to understand where I was coming from,
Mm.
and I also knew that I wasn't in the wrong for bringing it up, and and I think that's how family should be ran.
So, okay, that's one of those, how can I say it? It's like one of those it's like a non-visual contract, right? Like if
Hmm.
I hook you up, the plan is you're gonna break me off on the back
Yeah,
end, right?
yeah.
So let's remove from money for a minute because money gets
Hmm.
tricky. Those
Yeah, yeah,
expectations,
yeah,
even though,
yeah,
I did mention money as a like a funny example,
yeah.
but like what about that expectation that's more valuable than money? And somebody might be like, well, what's more valuable than money?
Hmm.
And that's friendship, like siblingship, like close family members. Like,
Okay.
what about those expectations? Like, so you have three daughters. What is your expectation of your tribe when it comes to your babies that you feel like should not have to be asked?
Mm. I think stepping in, one when I'm gone, being more like I guess more active. And as I'm saying that, I'm like, damn, do I even have the capacity to step in for other people? And that's the other question. Um, but oh, that's a tough question.
And the thing is, you said something that I wasn't expecting you to say, and not because I don't think you have the emotional intelligence
Mm.
to, but you just cracked the whole code because you was like, "Oh, I would want them to do," but wait a minute, do I have the capacity? And I
Yeah.
think that's the part that gets that's the convolution. This is where it gets
Mm.
convoluted, right? Because yeah, I can have expectations of you, but do you have that same expectation of
Yeah.
yourself? And
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times people have this whole blueprint mapped out for what they want from you,
Mm.
but didn't even look at would you be able to do that back?
That resume, that resume don't qualify you to give that same energy, and that is,
That's crazy.
yeah.
And it
But you
goes the
know,
opposite way too, because sometimes you have these expectations on people, right? Um, but like sometimes people they don't have it. And it
yeah,
makes you wonder if you should know better.
but also, and I think we spoke about this earlier. You know, we talk about upbringing, we talk about like situations and life experience, and at what point does that not become an excuse anymore?
What part?
Right? But in terms of people not showing up or having the capacity to show up the way that you would show up for them. And because my a part of me is just like, and I'm gonna treat you like a human.
Right.
And what the Bible verse say, thou shalt not do to them that you don't want done to yourself or whatever. Easy concept or something like that. Whatever. I'm working on myself, but
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
focus, focus, focus. But you get what I'm saying? It's just like that's when the tribe becomes important. That's when the tribe becomes like, or it comes down to, are we all on the same page as a tribe?
So look, I got hit with a question. Well, I wouldn't even say a question. I got hit with a statement. And the statement has come up with me and this one friend over and over. And so she says, you just know so many people. I know the day that you get married, your bridal party is gonna be like big. And I
Mm,
said, y'all
mm,
might just be the guests. Like everybody, I am at this grown age where I feel like I don't need you to be a witness. Legally, I just need one.
mm-hmm,
And my bridal party won't be that big because at the end of the day, I don't, first of all, if you feel like you should be chosen, then let's not even do this. Because
mm,
what I have with one group of friends and what I have with another does not, it doesn't define how important you are if you're not standing as a witness
yeah,
in line with me to get married. But what really matters is how you've prayed for my mate to show up. Like, I don't want nobody standing before God with me and you, one, haven't prayed for the union,
mm,
you haven't witnessed the ebb and flow of the relationship and contribute in a way that is conducive. Not because we've been friends 16 years.
mm,
You've never even poured into me when I've had my heart broken.
mm,
Just because, so what I'm saying is, I think even as women, we be having expectations put on us that be unrealistic.
mm,
And I feel like I know so many people that regret their bridal party. Like, and guess
yeah,
what? When they look
yeah.
at them wedding pictures, they
They
be like,
playing
dang, I
around
don't even
talking
talk to
shit.
them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
And
can't.
and can you recognize the fakeness in like your, because I'm not even gonna say try it, but
Yeah,
in just the people who you encounter?
I feel
Like,
like
do
you
you
could
feel like you're
tell.
good at?
I feel like you know, you got a good discernment, but at the same time, you're not walking around maliciously trying to chop people down.
Mm,
Like when you know people take stuff personal, you like, oh, you took that way too personal. I
mm,
can't, I ain't cutting you off, but I now know how to move around you, right?
mm,
For me, I have hella friends that are very like, I don't need to be in your birthday party straight up. And I'm gonna
mm,
ask them, hey, I know you said you don't even care to be a part of this, but would you
yeah.
be, do you have the capacity or would you really want to just be an audience member? But
Well,
there's
Lord,
there's signs.
well, Lord, I pray that you bless Jimmy with. Well, I'm being serious.
You want to
I
be
want.
my Mr. of Honor.
I don't even need to, because that's gonna require me buying a tux and some financial situation. I don't even want to be a part of. I'm good with just wearing my suit that I have in my closet, and showing up. We're gonna turn up. So
I'm a, in
don't
the
even think
closet.
of
I
me.
don't want that suit.
No, don't even worry about me.
But what's your prayer for me?
Um,
Let me hear that again, dear Lord. What?
yeah, I forgot. You messed it up. Um, no, I get it. I get it. Is there a difference when you hear um the words or the phrase? It might be a word or a phrase: support and believe in. Or I was thinking about this earlier, because like I could root for you and not support you, but I can support you, and whatever happens happens. And not that I'm rooting against you per
Against you,
se.
right?
It's just those are the those are
It
the
sounds like you're setting boundaries around what you already know. So for example, let's
mm,
just give a hypothetical. I got a friend and I know the dude that she with really out here doing the extras.
mm-hmm,
She's taking it more serious than him. And you've seen time and time again that this friend is taking it way more serious, but you know opposite. Because maybe I'm the friend with the male,
yeah,
right? And then the female is who I inquired due to the friendship with the male. And it's like, yeah, I don't necessarily, I'm not against you because I can't tell you, and not because of my loyalty to him, but if
mm-hmm,
you are in it, you're in it.
mm,
So I'm going to support that that's what you want to do, but I'm not rooting for this to work because I feel like you deserve more.
mm. Oh,
Does that?
but then that goes back to us feeling like people who deserves more don't even feel like they deserve for themselves.
And guess
It,
what? We
well,
can't,
we can't
I
we can't
can't,
control that. Yeah,
yeah, like
but
I always say, just because you go to the gym don't mean I'm gonna gain a muscle. Like I can't do the work for you.
I just feel like right, like if you have something, I can support it with a
Mm-mm.
tangible. I can buy
Ah,
it and sit it on the shelf and never open it, never touch it ever. Or
I think we've all done that though, right? With all these entrepreneur friends that pop up with all
yeah,
these different things.
or
Yeah.
I cannot spend a dime, but every chance I get, I'm gonna speak value of you and put you in a position to hopefully. So, so I know you can do both,
Right.
depending on who it is. But some folks, we just don't have that relationship with,
Mm.
and
I
so
also feel
that's
like it depends on the person you support and what their expectation of you is,
yeah,
right? Like, do they
yeah,
want you to buy it or do they want you to put them in better positions? I mean, it goes back to those conversations of I give you $250,000 or have dinner with Jay-Z.
mm, yeah. I'm gonna, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take that money.
I'm gonna take your money with you and then I'm gonna go meet with him. So
Yeah,
figure out how to
yeah,
give more of that
yeah,
money. I'm just
yeah.
playing. No, but
Um,
that's the thing. Like, it just depends on what is of more value of what that support looks like.
yeah, yeah. So I ran across a meme. over this week or whatever, and it was by Moon Omens or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I love
It
them.
says be an active participant in your life. Believe in change. Believe that a month, a year can change anything. Believe in new beginnings. Believe in fresh starts. Believe in healing through and beyond. You are not your past. You are not your current circumstances. Believe in renewal. Well, how does that sit for you?
Okay, so first of all, let's have a stew start. It's your girl. I'm just playing. I didn't ask you how you were doing. That honestly, I heard everything you said in that, and I was
Uh,
like, you talking about like you're not your current self, you're not your past self. And I'm like, I didn't even ask him back how he was doing. So before I answer what I believe that means, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I think I have faced some internal battles through these last weeks that I feel like could nothing pull me through it but me
Mm,
and obviously the man above. And I arrived on this epiphany of like you really need to let go.
mm,
And that's where I'm standing now. That in this
okay.
current state, I am standing on a in a release type of energy and just really turning it over in terms of show me the way, show me the blueprint. Um,
So read that quote again. That is an interesting response. Go ahead, read the quote.
it says be an active participant in your life, believe in
Pause.
change,
Be an active participant in your life. Believe in change. Carry on.
believe that a month, a year can change anything, believe in new beginnings, believe in fresh starts, believe in healing through and beyond. You are not your past. You are not your current circumstances. Believe in renewal.
The fact that they talked about new beginnings in three different ways.
Mm,
Believe in change, believe in renewal, believe that you're not your past self. So all these mean you have to end a part of yourself or a part of those entities in order for you to believe in the renewal, in order for
mm,
you to believe in the change, in order for you to believe that you need to be an active participant above all things. So, what I'm getting from that, if you aren't trying to do the renewal, if you're not trying to make the changes, if you don't believe that you're not your past, then in all those words just summarize that you're stagnant.
mm, mm.
And for me to say, oh, wait, I'm hearing everything he's saying. I didn't even ask how he was doing. And to find out that your answer is based on what you just read a week ago or within the week. And my thought for you is I know you say you want to let go of something, whatever that is, right? But what are you actually holding on to?
Oh, I think obviously I mentioned it in previous episodes is that survival mode, right?
Mm.
That survival mode and that I think that male stigma, right? That
Which one?
I know, but the
You
provider
see, I don't even wear
sense,
red
the
lipstick.
damn, that provider mentality that you have to do it all alone. Any sign of vulnerability is considered weakness. But here's what I landed on um, through this week. I have been not physically stepping into a house of God, but these
Mm.
last 3 weeks I have been making it a point to watch the live service online. And from that, what I gathered is like you still a kid that's searching for that is curious about life and what is what the future looks like for you. And I've always told myself like that was the thing that separated me as a young child from everyone who was out in the streets doing X, Y, and Z. It's always been curious of
Mm.
life. I, I took I took no piece of advice for granted. And even till this day, like I kid you not, I have clothes, which is crazy. I mentioned this and how it ties in, but like I have clothes that was gifted to me 7, 8, 10 years ago that I still cherish and I still have. But that's the part of me is just like I can't let this go because they gave it to me and as a gift,
Mm.
and it's a sense of gratitude. My um I guess I would say devotion, dedication to being grateful.
What if it, I have two things I want to say. The first thing is, what if it's just happy memories? What if they're just feel goods? Like we've encountered so many hardships in our life that there's thing okay. I said I had two things for you. I'm gonna come back to that part about the feel good
Right.
because I have a story about having something that I have actually over 20 something years
Mm-hmm.
and I wear it and it's yeah. What determines that you're being a kid and not just being in a vulnerable state to still receive a new teaching? You know how you said you like, I realize
Yeah,
I'm just a
yeah,
kid
yeah,
versus just
yeah,
being a grown man who has something new to take in. Because again, we label stuff
yeah, yeah. Nah, I hear
and it
you.
may not be that.
I think for me, when I think about that question, think about grown versus kid. Grown, I moved through this life in fear of like I'm gonna lose it all.
Mm.
When I was a kid, I moved through like I was gonna figure it out, like I was solution oriented.
So you don't know if they can coexist together?
They can, but another talk that I had with myself is questioning my strength.
Ooh.
Like, are you as strong as you think you were in the past? Like what's like what is this?
So
Like what is this?
what if you holding on to these cherishables? That's what we're gonna call them for me. I'm gonna call them
Mm-hmm.
cherishables
Mm-hmm.
because they remind you of your strength or they
Mm-hmm.
remind you of a time. So I said I had something. So growing up poor, I didn't get to have some of the things that a lot of my friends had. And so there was this one particular item growing up that I wanted so bad, and I got it, and I still have it to this day. And it ain't even in the best condition. I don't even know how I can still
Mm-hmm.
fit it. That's how you know
Mm-hmm.
it's it was a heather gray Gap hoodie. Do you remember
Mm-hmm.
those?
Oh yeah, the 994.
Everybody,
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
cool kids had it.
yeah. $70,
And Tranisha had
$60.
one. Yep. And my parents was not paying that.
Mm,
Tranisha gave me hers.
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
just say Tranisha's little
yeah,
frame.
yeah,
It say medium.
yeah.
The tag say it's a medium. I was so caught off guard. This is how you know little gestures create these big ripple effects.
Mm,
Because she gave me something that has such a high value to me, but it didn't have that for her. I kept that hoodie and I didn't want to let go of it. And I'm not a person that gets sick often. But when I went through having cancer, when I went through
mm,
being sick, I put that hoodie on to remind me that I was loved.
mm,
And so recently I got sick after all these years.
mm,
I put that hoodie on. So again, sometimes we may think like oh, it's this obligation, but in reality, it's bigger than the obligation. The
Yeah.
obligation is to stay committed to a feel good, to a space
Mm,
of like, huh, I remember what that felt like. When she gave
yeah.
me that, and to this day, she don't even laugh about it no more. She
Mm-hmm.
just be like, "Oh, faithful."
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the thing is, it's the bigger value is how it makes you feel.
Yeah, and you know, with that being said, I think it's important, you know, and I mentioned this earlier, is just that tribe piece and who you actually have in your circle. Because you know, I definitely, before we leave this episode or get off this episode, give you your flowers in terms of how you show up in the space for me and my significant other, right? Like there's no there's no sugarcoating. And I also feel like there's no embarrassment, no shame, no regret when I open the door and let you into our personal struggle, because I know that it's going to help move the needle for both of us. It's not going to ever be one-sided. And that's huge. That's huge with for me.
Yeah.
That's huge for my family. Um, that's huge for this foundation, because there's gonna always be cracks.
And
Sometimes
just
you
like
need that
that,
motherfucker to come through and put that little putty in
hey,
there to seal it. And even if it's for the moment, because
yeah.
at the end of the day, like your cues, your advice, or it it puts us in a space now. It's just like now we have the invite to have the conversations we need to have. And that's why it's so important to have strong, like-minded people around you to speak greatness in your heart.
Mm.
Like, and it's not gonna feel good all the time.
No, it's not supposed to. Because
Exactly.
if it feel too good, then you too comfortable in the
Yeah.
mischief of it all. Like just like I brought up that Gap hoodie,
Hmm.
and it's not in shape. It's like it's torn in spaces. But when I wear that when I'm sick, I feel like I'm gonna be better sooner than
Mm.
that. And I want to be that Gap hoodie for you.
Yeah.
I want to be
Yeah.
that for all my friends. And that's why I said earlier, it's not a
Louis
matter of
Vuitton.
having a huge, huh?
Could be Louis Vuitton. But go ahead.
Because I just know if Michael Jackson does you, that's what you was listening to. No, I just want to be mindful of what I would want people to do for me if they see me
Hmm.
struggling with somebody that you can see loves me and I love them. Like being your sister is just one piece of the bond.
Hmm.
And what kind of sister would I be if I didn't say, hey, watch how you say that?
Hmm.
Because I can be somebody's other partner and you wouldn't like it. And I know
Yeah.
you wouldn't. I know how you
Yeah.
react to a lot of stuff that happens to me.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I know the great man you are. I know the great father you are. I know the great friend you are. Your loyalty is unmatched on so
Mm.
many levels. And that's why it's so easy for people to get under your skin. But most importantly, I know your heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mm.
sometimes you don't get to convey what's in your heart because your head has been so occupied and
Yeah. Yeah.
full of other things that sometimes you need you said earlier in one episode external partnering. You need
Hmm.
someone to have an external heart with you.
Hmm.
And I will, and it's interesting we talk about heart, and I got my heart brooch
Yeah.
on that my
Yeah.
friend Jen got me, but I'm gonna always have your back. And sometimes having your back means standing in front of you and saying, hey, you did that wrong. And I know
Mm,
you can do better. And it's not a matter of being wrong or right, but just knowing there is a
you
better way.
capable,
But
capable.
I'm even surprised you brought this up, but thank you for allowing me into spaces that a lot of people probably will never see.
Yeah. It, and at the end of the day, man, I just feel like obviously there's no rule, no 100% guaranteed blueprint of how this thing called life is supposed to go. And the
Because
more I
if it
can bring,
was,
man,
they'll be selling it on the corner.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And the more I can bring my notes to the test, I'm I'm gonna do it.
Well, with all that being said, why
Why
be
be negative?
negative?
I don't think. I think it's your
I-
internet.
My internet. See, I'm gonna let you have that because you got real vulnerable. So I'm gonna let you
Yeah,
have that. Say bye to the
at least
people.
I didn't cry.
You was about to
Yeah, I almost did. Goodbye.
say bye to the people.